You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button.
No doubt a guy who played a big part in Jayden Daniels' big day, which we're all expecting to happen tomorrow, is LSU offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock, who's good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here. Mike, we appreciate the time. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Matt. Thanks for having me on. It's an exciting time.
Hey, can you look, obviously I know you're a dad, and a lot of these players have to feel like children. Like, do you feel part of that, like, proud papa feeling with Jaden and what he's going to accomplish here?
Absolutely. I mean, 100%. I mean, you always hope, I think, as a coach that you have some sort of positive influence, not just with X's and O's, but that, there's a relationship that builds between you and the guys that you work with every day. And that hopefully they feel the same way about it that you do, that you have their best interest at heart, and you're doing everything you can to help them play their very best and be the best people they can be.
Well, Jaden checks a lot of those boxes. I'm curious if we can go back and then go forward. What do you remember about recruiting Jaden? Because I'm going to assume that during your time at Cincinnati, maybe you weren't as familiar with him at Arizona State, or correct me if I'm wrong, but what are your recollections of recruiting him?
Well, I mean, when I was at Cincinnati, we played with, a quarterback who was a little bit more of a dual threat guy in Desmond Ridder. And when we, got here and kind of assessed the situation that we had, we were looking for someone who had some similar characteristics about him, somebody who could, move in the pocket and make some plays with his feet when we needed to. We knew we were going to be young up front. So we wanted to have a guy who was maybe a little more mobile and could do the things, some of the things that Jaden has done. I don't know that I ever envisioned it turning into what it turned into, although, when we were recruiting him, one of the things I remember, and him and I were talking about this actually after we beat A&M, after in the locker room, I had mentioned to him, we had several Zoom calls together and just talked about philosophy and how I saw him and how I hoped to lend a hand in his development. But one of the things we talked about was this very thing, that LSU would give him a forum and that our system would be built around his strength. And if he fulfilled his end of it and I fulfilled my end of it, maybe him and I might end up in New York one day. And lo and behold, here we are, and it's just been an amazing journey.
You did talk to him about possibly winning a Heisman when he was being recruited?
We absolutely did, yes. Absolutely. And listen, with in 2019 Joe Burrow, now with Jayden Daniels, I think what it spoke to and what I was trying to get to the heart of was LSU is a place where that's possible. That can happen here. It's been done. And if we build this the right way and go about doing it the right way, then we've got a chance to be in the very spot that the 2019 team was. And that was really, quite honestly, the biggest part of the recruiting pitch was what we could do together if we built this thing the right way.
You mentioned, Mike Denbrock's our guest. You mentioned Desmond Ridder. So in 21, that great season there at Cincinnati, he finished 8th in the Heisman voting. Which, to the best of my knowledge, would be the highest finish for a quarterback that you coached. Did you ever, unless if there's someone I'm missing, did you ever think, or have you allowed yourself to think that you would, as a coach, you'd get it, that you would coach a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback?
I don't think it ever really crossed my mind to the extent of where I thought, this is a reality and it's going to happen, because you really never know how it's going to go and how it's going to, progress and how much growth is going to happen. I've worked with guys before where I thought it was a possibility. And, obviously with the great leap that Jaden made from year one to year two, as the year went along, it became more and more into focus as something that could actually happen. even though we didn't talk much about it, him and I always have had a bond and kind of an understanding that this was the ultimate goal, if at all possible. And here we go. Good Lord willing, they do the right thing and they give the guy who deserves it the most and the guy who's earned it the award tomorrow.
Oh, I think that's going to happen. It feels like all that's left to do is just for them to open up the envelope and read the name. Did you know in fall camp this was going to happen? Like he was going to have this type of improvement?
You saw signs even in the spring of the development piece. And, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Joe Sloan and the great work that he's done with Jaden to help him come along in his progression. And even Coach Kelly, obviously, with the success he's had with quarterbacks over the years, has been deeply involved in Jaden's development, as well as Jack Marucci and the AI stuff that we do with the quarterbacks. And we had a comprehensive plan, and Jaden just kind of embraced it and ran with it. And it's been remarkable to watch him. And I think the signs were there that we knew it was going to be a special season offensively not just because of Jaden, but because of, Malik and Brian Thomas and Kyron Lacey and the running backs, and the offensive line was more seasoned. So we knew we were going to score some points and move the football. I don't know that you can sit in fall camp and ever envision what actually happened, but we knew we were going to be something that, people were going to have trouble defending.
Was it easy to call plays for Jayden Daniels?
Well, I call him the human eraser. So and if there's anybody in the world that needs somebody to help him look smart, it's me. And he's a godsend from that standpoint because just think if you're the defensive coordinator, I can count numerous times during the season where they got a pretty good call on and it doesn't look like it, or he erases whatever advantage they had by just the skill that he has and the way he plays the game.
Were there material ways that you changed how you called plays a year ago to this year?
Definitely. I think I was a lot more conservative with him a year ago because I don't know that I had a great feel for him or, quite frankly, what we could become. And I wanted to make sure that, I kept us in positions to win football games. And that's always the goal. And, when we got into going into this season, I think the mindset changed to the point where we were ready as a unit to just let it rip, led by him, of course. But we had all the pieces constructed and in the right places where we could really take advantage of people.
A couple more minutes here with Mike Denbrock, LSU's offensive coordinator. I would assume you are going to be on the plane flying up here tomorrow?
I am on a plane flying up there tomorrow, and I know you guys are having happy hour tonight, but it's not going to look anything like it's going to look if he wins this trophy tomorrow night, I can tell you that.
No, you're right about that. The city will be painted in purple and gold. Have you allowed yourself to think about what it's going to be like in that room to hear his name and to watch him go receive that award?
Well, I'm almost scared to even envision it or think about it because I don't want to, I don't want to jinx it in any way, shape, or form or put some wrong karma out into the atmosphere. But it's going to be incredibly exciting. And obviously all the guys that are there standing next to him are in some ways deserving of the award. But I don't see any way that this young man does not get rewarded for the great things that he's done.
The last thing for you, the fans and the person listening right now has watched Jaden play all year and have marveled by the job he's done on the field. So often, though, with athletes, you get to consume them in digestible pieces and sound bites at a post-game interview or a press conference or something. You're there with him every single day and have been now for nearly 2 years. What about Jayden Daniels that the person that you've come to know that maybe fans, people don't know or don't get to see every day?
Yeah, I mean, none of his success is by accident. I mean, he has attacked everything that we've put in front of him He's a tireless worker. I think, there's been some publications of, when he comes in the morning and watches film and things like that. And that's just a small piece of it. I mean, his preparation to be in those moments and to be ready for those moments has been something that's been a pleasure to watch. And he's taken the initiative with that and really done a tremendous job. And then on top of that, he's unflappable. I mean, he enjoys as stressful as it can be at times. He loves the game, and you can see that by the way he plays it and the joy that he has, not just when he has success, but when people around him have success. And when you got that, you got something pretty special.
This season certainly was that, and I know you were a big part of it as well, and we appreciate you taking a couple of minutes. Hey, we're also glad that you're going to be sticking around Baton Rouge for a few more years, man. Congrats on the extension. We're all excited that you'll be up there dialing up plays for the Tigers for years to come, man. Congrats, and thanks again for the time today.
Thank you, Matt. I really appreciate you, buddy.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.